progress with the OGC on a standard for GeoPost. We have an initial definition of a GeoPost request response protocol. We have 3 different companies who have committed to provide GeoPost services in compliance with the protocol and standard. We have an initial open source reference implementation of the Spatial Discovery Service available on GitHub and running in the cloud and in the Bari testbed. We have the initial version of a browser-based smartphone client that will connect to the OSCP platform. After a few months of process to get it approved, since January there has been a standards working group within the Open Geospatial Consortium developing a standard for GeoPosts, with participants from many industries, not only AR related. We are super happy about our collaboration with the OGC, and we are honored to have Scott Simmons, the Chief Operating Officer of OGC, to tell you more about OGC and the GeoPost Standards Working Group right after this session. On the OSC panel later in the symposium, you will hear even more about that from 3 of the members of the Standards Working Group. In June, we partnered with ETSI, another key standards body in the intersection of spatial computing, telecom, IoT, and edge. They are doing important work to develop an augmented reality framework for interoperability and standardization across different AR technology areas. We will work closely with them to make sure that our work on GeoPost, the Open Spatial Computing Platform, and AR Cloud technology in general is synchronized with their framework. One of the most important things we have done this year is to establish Open AR Cloud Europe, a subsidiary of OARC, headquartered in Munich, Germany, and operating under the competent leadership of Alina Kadlubski, our Director of Communications. With the testbeds and new partnerships, the center of gravity for OARC's activity is currently in Europe, and we are looking forward to working with the vibrant XR and spatial computing sector in Europe. 30 years ago, the very first version of the World Wide Web was implemented at CERN in Europe. If we succeed in creating an open spatial web, the first development also for this might happen in Europe. This August, we signed a partnership agreement with XR for All, an initiative by the European Commission to strengthen the European XR industry. Although OARC is a global non-profit and want our work to benefit everyone on this planet, a close collaboration with European partners makes a lot of sense in the near term, as our main activities in the coming months will be here in Europe. And in general, we are happy to contribute to the growth of the European XR industry. Speaking once more of Europe, the very 2 first test beds for the Open Spatial Computing platform at a city scale is going to happen in Bari, Italy, and in Helsinki, Finland. Vladimir Ufnarovsky, co-founder of Augmented City, will be the project manager in Bari, and Mikko Karvonen, Chief Product Officer at Immersal, will be the project manager in Helsinki. And later in this symposium, from the co-founder and CEO of the XR Safety Initiative, an organization we partner with at our very first State-of-the-Art Cloud Symposium, and in Helsinki, Finland. Vladimir Ufnarovsky, co-founder of Augmented City, will be the project manager in Bari, and Mikko Karvonen, Chief Product Officer at Immersal, will be the project manager in Helsinki. And later in this symposium, from the co-founder and CEO of the XR Safety Initiative, an organization we partner with at our very first State-of-the-Art Cloud Symposium. From her, you will hear the very first presentation on a brand new XRSI privacy framework that members of the Open AR Cloud and many other industry experts have contributed to.
Hello. Bear with me, folks. I'm just getting my slides on screen. I want to thank everyone for attending today. Hey, there we go.
And in Helsinki, Finland. Vladimir.
All right, let's just flip this so people can see it. There we go. And we'll take my beautiful face away, I think is the way to do this. All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Colin Steinman. I'm the Director of Operations for OpenAR Cloud. And OpenAR Cloud, this is really our third year in operation as a registered nonprofit. And this is the year that we're really trying to move from big talk and rhetoric and really make good on our dream of an open, interoperable ecosystem for augmented reality, virtual reality, and the spectrum in between that we're now starting to call XR. Um, we're very excited by this, and the way that we're making it happen is in a few key ways. Now, you may have heard Jan-Erik mention our test beds. Our test beds are really important because we have been preaching about open, interoperable, privacy respecting technology. And these test beds allow us to demonstrate these things at scale. And so what that means is we want to demonstrate that multiple organizations, sometimes who are competing with each other, can still cooperate. And so these test beds are wonderful because we are bringing in multiple spatial mapping companies with their own unique approaches to spatial mapping. And we're creating an open marketplace where multiple mapping solutions are available and indexed into uh, a shared discovery service. And fundamentally, that's what our test beds, this first round of them is testing, is this shared discovery service. Uh, Now, what does that mean? That means that you can go to a location with your XR enabled device and say, hey, I want to know what's around me. And through this initial test bed system, we will be taking small areas, as Jan mentioned, first in Helsinki, Finland, and Bari, Italy, and let's say about 10 square blocks. With this small area, we are able to test and investigate how will this spatial indexing service actually function at scale. How will we be able to discover not only spatial mapping data in that location provided by multiple partners, but also content that is then attached to those locations in space and facilitated by that mapping in, once again, an open index where anyone is able to contribute their content and your content is not trapped behind a walled garden, so to speak. Um,
Yeah, as well said, Colin. Can you hear me?
yes, thank you.
Great. So now we're starting to get the hang of this. So it's true that we start out actually in a humble way with very basic things, but very fundamental things that are useful for a lot of things. So we have a larger idea about the open spatial computing platform, but we start with the GeoPost and the spatial discovery service. Later on, we want to expand to the reality service, but only having GeoPost and spatial discovery is a breakthrough. This is something that we never had before, and it sort of totally breaks with this what you would have in like an app store, where everything happens on the terms of one particular business. If it's Google or it's Apple or it's Magic Leap or someone else, when content is distributed through an app store, it has to fit with the business model of those running the app store. But with an open platform like this, it's like the web, where you, as long as you're operating within the laws of the land, you are able to register your content and your services, no matter if it's disrupting for the one who would have had the platform. So this is what we have experienced during the last few decades with the web, that it's a really scalable model that allows for a lot of more business growth than the proprietary model. So stay tuned for that, and please contact us to see how you can participate in the test beds. And as Colin said, that we're starting with a few city blocks. That is true for Helsinki, but for Bari, Augmented City has actually scanned 100 square kilometers. So this is actually quite large city size, where you can test out this platform in its very early inception. So now it's 2 minutes until you will hear from Scott Simmons. He will be there live to answer some questions about the Open Geospatial Consortium and how you do working groups there and other things they are doing, as well as answering about the OGC Standards Working Group on GeoPose. So see you over there at this other session coming right after.
One last thing I do want to mention about our testbeds is the amazing research opportunity that they afford us, especially in Europe. The part of the reason we're starting in Europe is how seriously countries here take privacy and the security of their citizens, their activities, and their property. And so if we can prove that we can run an open spatial computing platform that is respectful of the privacy requirements that we must observe under GDPR, we are confident that we can export that model anywhere in the world and do it in such a manner that will preserve the privacy and the dignity of the individual users and the property owners who augment their spaces. So that's a theme you're going to be encountering over and over again. And in fact, Kavya Perlman from the XR Safety Initiative will be telling us about a wonderful toolkit that she, along with some of our own members and members from some other organizations, have helped develop specifically to inform XR developers about how they can build apps that are compliant with global privacy and security frameworks that we must observe in order to operate spatial data applications in various regions across the world. I'm seeing now that this webinar is just wrapping up, so I encourage everybody to join us in our next session with Scott Simmons from our wonderful partner, the Open Geospatial Consortium, where he will be telling us a little bit more about the spatial coordinate system, which we have endorsed and adopted as an open standard for spatial computing. Thanks so much, everybody.